Life has a strange way of sending you your greatest teacher. Mine never gave me homework, never spoke a word, and I had to change his diapers. His name is Mateo, and in his 6 years, he taught me something most of us miss. True connection does not depend on words. It depends on how fully we show up. When my son Mateo was 4 months old, my wife Leonor and I received the kind of news that divides life into before and after. A rare disease, no cure. Life expectancy, a couple of months, maybe a year. We locked ourselves in our tiny closet and fell apart. After 2 days, we made a decision. If time was going to be short, it had to be intentional. So we went up to our rooftop, and with our son between us, we got married. Because love was the only thing that made sense. The doctors gave him 1 year. He gave us 6. Mateo was nonverbal and non-mobile. His brain was fully aware, conscious, alert. But the signals to his body did not travel. Imagine this. You understand everything around you. You feel hunger, pain, joy, fear. But you cannot move. You cannot speak. You cannot ask for help. Many of us panic inside an MRI after 15 minutes. Now, imagine living there. That was his reality. And it made me confront something. If my son cannot use language to connect, then I must learn another way. At first, I did what many of us do. I talk more. I ask questions. I try to stimulate responses. Nothing changed. And slowly I understood. Communication wasn't failing because of him. It was failing because of me, because I was still trying to control it. Words carry intention, but they also carry an agenda. We ask to feel relevant. We speak to fill silence. We advise to feel useful. But Mateo couldn't play that game, so I had to unlearn it. I stopped asking. I stopped narrating. I stopped feeling silence. And I began to observe the subtle change in his breathing, the micro-tensions around his eyes, the difference between discomfort and fatigue, the way the energy in a room shifted when he was overstimulated. To understand him, I had to regulate myself first. Slow my nervous system, drop expectation. Be still enough to perceive what cannot be spoken. And that is when I discovered something that changed my life. Presence is a skill. And most of us are profoundly untrained in it. For 6 years, my son trained me to pay attention. When someone cannot move or speak, you cannot multitask through love. You either show up or you disconnect. Mateo forced me into radical presence. And in that presence, something extraordinary happened. He was happy. By every medical definition, he had every reason to be angry at the world. Yet, he woke up and went to bed smiling. His joy was not the result of achievement. It was the result of connection. And connection begins with attention, which led me to a powerful truth. Time is not something we are given, it is something we create. 6 years with him felt expansive, not because they were long, but because they were undivided. When we are fully present, time stretches. When we are disconnected, time collapses. Think about the last hour you spent scrolling your phone. Now think about an hour of deep conversation with someone you love. Same duration, completely different experience of time. Attention is what makes time feel alive. After Matteo died, grief entered every room of my life, and he taught me yet another essential lesson. Grief is not the opposite of love. It is love that no longer has a physical place to land. Grief is not weakness. It is a trace of something real. And love that real does not end. It reshapes itself. It changed how I speak to my daughter, how I listen to friends, how I show up at work. The lesson was never about tragedy. It was about capacity. Most people believe communication requires eloquence or confidence, but real connection requires none of that. It requires attention without agenda, listening without preparing your reply, allowing silence to exist without rushing to fill it. My son never used a single word, yet he taught me how to listen in ways language never could. For most of my life, I believe purpose was something you achieve. A career, a title, a legacy. But a 6-year-old boy who never walked or spoke transformed me more deeply than any accomplishment I ever chased. And I understood clearly. Purpose is not defined by what we achieve. It is defined by how we show up. His life was short. His impact was not. The next time someone speaks to you, try something different. Do not interrupt. Do not fix. Do not prepare your answer. Give them your full attention for 60 seconds because connection does not require perfect words. It requires the courage to be fully present. My son never used a single word, but he's the loudest voice in my life. Not because of what he said, but because of what he taught me to hear. And if a child without language could reshape the way I understand being human, then maybe our greatest transformation begins when we stop talking and start paying attention fully. Thank you.